Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Mangg Plays, the best games of all time. Last time we looked at Ghosts and Goblins from 1985 in the arcade. Uh, Pretty awesome little title. Like mechanically, visually, all that sort of stuff. Just way too frickin' hard to be really enjoyable for most audiences. That same year, however, brought us Super Mario Brothers on the Famicom. Um, and apparently a limited release in the US. I'm not really sure about all the history. I wasn't around at the time, obviously. Um, but either way, the NES. The NES. Yeah. I mean, the NES came out in 85, so yeah, the NES, Famicom, whatever. Um, yeah, so Super Mario Brothers. I mean, I would already consider it probably one of the greatest games ever made. So I don't really need to do this video, but I think we just wanted to take a little bit of time to play it and just kind of talk about it. Um, it's arguably one of, if not the most important game in gaming history. It's hard to really, it would be hard to pin down the single most important game, but it's certainly among there. Um, it's generally regarded as like the game that kind of saved gaming as a field of entertainment after the video game crash. And I know probably plenty of people don't even know or could ever imagine that there was a video game crash in 1983. Basically, if you're somehow not aware and you're watching this channel, um, yeah, in 1983, the video game industry crashed because there were just so many different consoles. There weren't just the big three. I mean, there were so many consoles and there were so many shitty ass games. I mean, these things were just they were just pumping out, pumping out, pumping them out because you had one guy that just made a whole game, and then you have, all these companies that just stocked with all these people just pumping out games, and it was just inundated, and everything just came to a crashing halt. Um, and plenty of people at the time, thought like, well, that was the video game fad, it's over, you know. Home video game revenues dropped 97% by 1985. So yeah, between 83 and 85, home console was just dead. I mean, arcades were still doing okay. They lessened a little bit, but they were still doing okay. But um, and home computing was still doing okay because that had plenty of other uses. But yeah, home consoles, like dedicated gaming consoles, were just dead in the water. Um, and if it wasn't for Nintendo, I mean, who knows? Who really knows? But Nintendo, Shigeru Miyamoto came along, and they had the Famicom in '83, but it was just like, at the time, it was just another shit. It was just another little shit. It was in Japan, no one really cared. And that all changed with the release of NES and Super Mario Brothers. And just, I mean, this was like, okay, games are back. Games are fucking back. This is as high quality as it gets. I mean, we just looked at Ghosts and Goblins in the arcade, and I said, at the arcade was top of the line, right? because you can't. I mean, that was where the high-end dedicated. That's where the best graphics were. That's where you had like Dragon's Lair and stuff like that. I mean, graphically, the arcades were where it's at compared to like home computers. You know, the Commodore 64 not quite as impressive. Um, but then here you have Super Mario Brothers, and yeah, this is emulated. It's going to look a little better than it did back then, but I mean, it's bright, it's vibrant, the animations look good, it's got sound. I mean, it's all just like, yeah, this is hot modern gaming right here. And yeah, and so Super Mario Brothers really solidified the whole idea of a killer app, of a game that's just like people buy a console for one game, you know, because it's that freaking good and it's that freaking popular. Uh, and so that's what we have with Super Mario Brothers. I mean, why would you possibly own an NES and not own Super Mario Brothers? I mean, they often just like bundled it in and things like that, but it was just, yeah. I mean, if you had an NES, you had Super Mario Brothers, and it became just this massive phenomenon. In fact, in 1990, a study was taken in North America that suggested that more kids in the US were familiar with Mario than they were with Mickey Mouse. I mean, that's insane. I mean, no video game character even had that sort of identity before, let alone like recognition. So, yeah. Apparently they were going to try to ban violent video games in California. Hmm. I don't know how that's. Oh, oh, and Super Mario Brothers had really just like cartoonish violence, similar to like Roadrunner and stuff that no one gives a shit about. So it's like, how are you gonna ban violence, all violence in video games when you got stuff like Super Mario Brothers? Anyway, so yeah, I mean, it's just you've heard of Super Mario Brothers. You probably played it. We are all familiar with it. Yeah, I mean, it's great stuff. But at the same time, I don't know. I mean, you would say like Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World. I personally would say they're both better than this, and they're also both on the best of list. So how many Mario games do you need on the best of list? I don't know. I guess if they're all amazing, then they all deserve to be on here. All right. I mean, let's just play. I don't know how long we're gonna play or anything like that, but let's just do it. Yeah, I mean, God, that music, those sound effects, it's just like it's hard to get more iconic in the gaming world. I really don't think you can. Yeah. I mean, it's just. And it's interesting because of its relation to like the video game crash and kind of saving the industry. There's nothing really like that in any other field of entertainment. There's no movie crash and one movie that came along to just save it. There's no literature crash and then somebody wrote a book and it's like, holy shit, books can be kind of good, can't they? So its importance is really just unique. Um, I mean, all things said, I mean, obviously I'm heaping praise on the game. That being said, it's not really like something... It's not really my kind of genre, as I've talked about. We had an NES when I was young. Like, really young. I was born in 1990, you know, so we had an NES. But I don't really... I know I played this as a kid, but I don't remember specifics. And by the time I could really, like, think and function in the gaming world, we had Super Mario All-Stars. And that I played a fair amount. Super Mario All-Stars was for the SNES. It was a remake. It had remakes of... And then, yeah, sort of remakes, I guess, of Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, and 3. And the Lost Levels, which was the Japanese Super Mario Bros. 2. So the actual Super Mario Bros. 2. There are apparently versions of All-Stars that also included Super Mario World bundled in, which is just insane to me. But I also had Super Mario Bros. World and World 2. Because it's just like, I mean, Nintendo is Mario. Even in our household, where we were... talking and not thinking. Even in our household where we were just all big on RPGs, I mean, that's what me and my brother played most of the time, was just like, alright, we're starting up Final Fantasy VI this time, alright, we're starting up Final Fantasy IV, alright, let's play some Breath of Fire 2, you know, it's just like, we had all the SNES RPGs, and that's what we spent most of our time, but we still owned, you know, All-Stars, Super Mario World, Super Mario World 2. I think we even owned, like, Mario is Missing or something like that. We owned a couple of, like, the educational ones. I mean, it's just, you couldn't be in the Nintendo world and not be involved with Mario in some capacity. But I find it funny that we did own, like, Mario is Missing. Because, you know, you just assumed, like, alright, it's got Mario in the fucking name, it's gonna be a banger, you know? But that wasn't always the case. So yeah, I mean, I didn't spend a whole lot of time playing Mario games as a kid. I certainly never beat any Mario game we owned. I think I got pretty far in Super Mario World 2, but I don't think I ever beat it. But, you know, it's just, as an RPG fan, I became very accustomed to this whole idea of, well, fuck. If I die at some point, I have saved, you know, you get well into the practice of just saving constantly in every RPG, and if I just cannot do something, I just grind. You know, I just repeat fights over and over until I'm powerful enough to just slam my way through. So it never really required much, like, dexterity and skill. So then it's like, okay, I die in Mario and I have to go back to the start? Like, what the fuck? Why would I want to do that? And when I die in Final Fantasy VI, I don't have to go back to the start of Narshe. But, you know, still, I mean, we owned them, I played them, it was fine. Um. So yeah, I mean, I've disqualified plenty of games so far on this list because I think there are just better versions of it, right? So it's a hard thing to say. Am I really just going to give Super Mario Brothers, the original, the spot, just out of respect, you know, and due to its importance, even though there are better versions of this game? I don't know. It feels weird to not say Super Mario Brothers is one of the best games ever made. Um, so yeah, I mean, it is. I have to try to look at it somewhat objectively, because none of these games are really my cup of tea. But, I mean, yeah, this is just all damn impressive for 85. Iconic, man. And it just controls so fucking well. Like, damn, man. It's so good. Yeah, it just holds up. Like, aside from, like, dying a little quickly and, you know, having your game just start at the start, you know, you have to start over completely. Aside from all that, everything else just still really holds up pretty damn well. So, yeah, I mean, it is. It is definitely one of the greatest games ever made. But, I mean, we've got other Mario games to look at, so I don't want to spend too long on this one. But I think it's important, especially because we're going through this list, you know, we're going through this series year by year. So it's really just important to take a look at this in 85. The same year that brought us Gauntlet in the arcade. And yeah, I mean, it's simple, right? Like, this is not like a super complex game. You know, people on home computers and stuff are playing things like, I don't know, Mule and Wizardry and Might and Magic. I think that came out 86, but still, I mean, you know, it's certainly very simple, but that's why it became a fucking phenomenon. I mean, you had kids just eating it up and buying it and loving it, but then those kids' parents could also just pick up the controller and play for a little bit. I mean, Legend of Zelda, which came out, I think, the next year? Yeah, following year, Legend of Zelda came out. Also big mega hit and spawned, obviously, a massive franchise, but I don't think it has the same appeal. Not even to me, someone that's not a casual gamer. I don't really... Fuck me. I mean, I did a Let's Play of the original Zelda years back. Oh god, I'm just fucking terrible. That's a good sign to stop. Bam, 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 na, 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 na. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just one of those timeless classics. Potentially the most important game ever released. Cool stuff. You already knew all that, though, so kind of a pointless video. But shows it in context with these other games that we're looking at around this time. You can see why it just had easy marketability, easy appeal to just everybody, you know, compared to Ghosts and Goblins. All right, so that'll do it. Plenty more NES games coming soon. But for now, my name is Mangg. This has been Mangg Plays the Best Games of All Time with Super Mario Brothers. I'll see you fine folks next time.